Hey, welcome to the channel. So I originally put together some questions about a week ago about the new scenario, and I sent them off to the devs for answers, but they never got back to me. So now that we have more information publicly available between the dev stream, which I did a great video on, so check that out, and the news update that we received today, I figured I would just answer them myself and share it with the community. So here are 20 questions we need to know about the new scenario before joining. And with question 20, I'll tell you why I think PvE players should consider joining now or just waiting for the new winter scenario. So let's dive in. The first question I had was, when will the Prismverse go live? So signups began on the 23rd, and basically that's for any players that are in Phase 6. If you are on a Season 2 server, you haven't hit Phase 6 yet. You will in probably 3 or 4 days, depending on when you start it. But the Prismverse servers will go live on the 26th. So it's assumed that once the servers go live, new players will be able to sign up for them, because right now that option is not available. Players that are in Phase 6 will be able to join Day 1 servers, although they'll be a couple days behind, as long as those servers still have room on them. If not, the next servers that are going live will be on the 29th, so they'll be a couple days behind. Next question. How will PvP death be handled? So in this scenario, there's going to be no loss of gear on death, which is really good. It's likely that it won't be exactly like the Sproutlet event where you just press the button and then you resurrect yourself and get right back into battle. It's probably going to be a lot closer to how they did Wars, where if you die, you'll be presented with the ability to spawn back at a spawn point. So you can either choose your home, or if you put down a tent. So make sure that if you're going into the PvP contested zones, to bring a tent with you. How will server balancing work? So the devs mentioned that the servers will iterate the count for Rosettas and Mayflies during the sign up, which likely means that the system is going to automatically monitor and adjust the number of players signing up for each faction. So in one faction, Rosetta or Mayflies, if they have a significantly more players signing up than the other, the server's probably going to prompt players to consider joining the faction with fewer members, and this will help maintain the balance between the two factions and ensure that the competition remains fair and engaging. They will also have a system in place that grants a bonus to the trailing faction, which will reduce the amount of time to secure deviant energy, making it easier for the trailing faction to catch up. How will PvP balancing work? There is no indication of the contested zones being instanced like Wars or Prime Wars, so I'm going to assume that it's just an open world area unique to each world or layer that you become auto-flagged once you enter. So this means that there likely won't be any forced balancing between the number of players from each side at any time. They are, however, introducing a PvP stat adjustment mechanic to help keep power differences in check while maintaining the unique characteristic of builds and their counterplay mechanics. So this should help to level the battlefield a little more for PvE and new players that are going up against seasoned PvP vets with like 5-star weapons and gear and the best PvP mods you can attain. So this mechanic will be unique to Prismverse, and I'm interested to see how it works and if we see any new meta builds come out of it all. Will there be a storyline or quests to level up? So yes, there will be a new storyline and quest path focusing on the Rosetta and the Mayfly backstories. I would assume that each faction will have their own story to work through, which is going to make this scenario great for replayability because we can come back and join the other faction and then go through their storyline. Will there be PvE content available during the PvP scenario? So yes, all of the normal PvE content will be available minus the Prime Wars. In Phase 1, you'll have Silos Phi, Sigma, EX1, and the Monoliths Ravenous Hunter, Treant, and Shadow Hunter. Phase 2, you'll have Silos Alpha, Psi, and Araxium Monolith. And the final phase will unlock Theta, Leia research, and the Forsaken Giant. Will there be time gating of areas like the current scenarios? Yes. Phase 1 will include 2 faction safe zones and a contested zone, and a public safe zone. Phase 2 will unlock West Blackfell, which is a contested area, and the new Berserkosaurus Rex deviation. And then Phase 3 will unlock East Blackfell, which is also a contested area, pro-dungeon modes, and the Radiant One deviation. So these will primarily be gained, I'm talking about the deviations, through public crisis events, which will also open up new ones with each phase. How long will the PvP scenario last? So the PvP scenario is going to be broken into 4 phases, including the settlement phase where you can leave to another server. The first phase is 5 days. The phase 2 and 3 are both 7 days each, making the total duration just 19 days long. What will the sign-up lockout period be for this PvP scenario? So we don't have any clarification yet on the lockout period for the PvP scenario specifically, but if it adheres to the rest of the servers, it will be 10 days. So essentially, once a server opens, you'll have 10 days to sign up and join before it becomes permanently locked, even if you have friends on there with invite keys. They did say that they were making an exception for brand new characters where you'll be able to join anytime after. This was in a previous dev chat that they had, so I'm not sure if it's confirmed if it is going live on the 26th, but it was originally planned to go live on the 26th. So with that, essentially, if you had a new character on like a new account, you'd be able to join your friend at any time with an invitation code, even if the server was locked due to that 10-day setting. How does the timing of the PvP scenario align with the end of Season 2? So Season 2, Day 1 servers will not be entering Phase 6 until the Prismverse clash begins. So this means that the players on those servers are not going to be able to join on Day 1. However, if a Day 1 Prismverse clash server still has room, you will be able to join, albeit a few days late. How does this align with October's PVE scenario timing? If you were able to secure a spot on the Day 1 PvP server, you will be able to join a Day 1 server on the new Winter PvE scenario that's going to go live on October 17th. Now, I put together this Gantt chart. So here we can see that I have new characters, so new characters will be able to sign up, join whenever. If you join PvP and the start on Day 1, you'll be able to join the PvE start. You'll actually have even a few days, after the PvE event or PvP event ends before the new one starts up. If you join on a Day 1 character from Season 2, you'll go live on the 28th. The server will have been out for like 3 days, but it will still end right on October 16th, meaning that you'll be able to go live on Day 1 on the 17th with the PvE. Now, if you were on any server that was not the Day 1 server, so the next servers that came out started a couple days later, you'll be joining on September 29th, and it'll actually push you into, the October 17th date. So you won't be able to join on Day 1. You may be able to join Day 1 servers, just like with the PvP, but you won't be able to actually join on Day 1. Tell us more about the fashion cosmetics for each of the factions and if we'll be able to obtain them. So according to the most recent information on the Prismverse clash, they state top performers in the final phase will earn rare faction avatar sets. So I hope this is going to be in addition to a normal version of the faction sets that we all get for choosing, either faction, and then, maybe we are awarded them immediately or through doing our weeklies, but we're not going to know for sure until the scenario begins. But essentially, there will be at least a rare faction set the top performers will be able to get. How will Starchrom be obtained? So Starchrom will be obtained in all the normal ways that you would from the original 2 scenarios, with the addition of a weekly amount obtained from Faction Wars instead of the Prime Wars or the regular Wars. So it's still yet to see if they're going to offer it through the shop or through special events like they have in previous season. Like, you know, in the current season, you can go during the last phase and you can buy out like 4,000 Starchrom for, I think, 400k energy link. I don't know if that's going to be available, but at least all of the normal ways that we can obtain it in the game, probably through the vendors and stuff as well, will be available to us. What special abilities will be added to the game? So they stated that the Prismverse Clash scenario is going to introduce unique Memetic Specializations. Players from both factions can randomly acquire Memetic Specializations from the opposing faction. So I think at one point they were going to have faction unique Memetics, but they decided to just open it up to both factions, I'd assume for balancing. But we have yet to see what's going to be the difference in the Memetics, the Cradle, or the Specialization. But once I do have more information on that, I will do a video going over all of those details. What will be the banners for the Wish Machine? The Wish Machine will feature the blueprint for the Memento, which is a fast gunner pistol, and the Desert Dusk Mask, which is the key item for the fast gunner build. The gear set will include the Stormweaver coat, the pants, and the gloves. And I wonder if they have updated the pants name to match, because currently it's Tornado Pants, which sounds pretty funny if you think about it. Will we be able to leave the current scenarios and transfer to the new scenarios earlier than Phase 6? They have said on multiple occasions that this will be a no. You will be unable to sign up or move from your scenario until you are in the settlement phase, which is Phase 6 on the current scenarios. And then once we get into this new PvP scenario, it will be Phase 4. If players have not reached Phase 6 when the new PvP or PvE scenario launches, will they be able to move off to their current server and join the new scenarios on day 1, or will they be forced to wait until reaching Phase 6? So as mentioned in the previous question, you will be forced to wait until your server reaches settlement phase before being able to move over to the new servers. So take a look at that Gantt chart again. Just make sure that you understand if you are really interested in jumping into the PvE content on day 1, October 17th, make sure that your timing aligns with that so you can see exactly whether you'd be eligible or not. How does the Prism Clash work? So you choose a faction when joining, either Mayflies or Rosettas. Each side is going to have safe zones that you can build and play in, free of PvP. These zones have been updated and will contain basic mats, so I'm guessing tier 1 through 3. Contested zones will be found on the map, which you can venture into to gather higher end mats, but you will be automatically flagged for PvP upon entering these zones. In the contested zones, you will find special deviations which are filled with prism energy. Similar to the purification systems, you'll need to build a structure in the contested zone and place down a securement unit to purify the deviation. So just like with Cortexes, you can do multiple at once. Each deviation is going to be worth a certain amount of prism energy, and the purification is going to last anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours depending on the amount being purified. So this event is going to be the main activity for the PvP scenario, and I would imagine it's going to result in factions building these huge mega defensive structures for purification, and then it turning into a nice war every day. The team with the most prism energy at the end of the scenario is going to win. One thing to note is that every day from midnight to noon server time, structures will take 70% less damage. What will be the prizes for the Prismverse Clash? So at the end of each phase, players will receive faction firework rewards based on their rankings. Faction fireworks can summon a faction loot crate that can be shared with other members of the same faction. Now, it doesn't say how many people can share in the rewards, but I'm hoping that it's a lot and this becomes like a nice event on the server where, you know, the top people bring everybody together, they launch off their fireworks, and then everybody joins in on the loot. Now, once a certain amount of Prism energy is collected, the entire faction can also earn Starchrom rewards. And it looks like there's different amounts, kind of like the circle that you build for your challenges, where when you unlock each one of the things, the entire faction will gain points for that. And finally, the top performers in the final phase will also earn those rare faction avatar sets, which again, I'm hoping are just in addition to the regular faction avatar sets that each of the factions gets. Finally, the question 20. I'm a PvE player. Why should I join the PvP scenario? So one, it's something new, which we've been severely lacking in this game. New story and quest lines to change things up. Also, they said that the land's been altered a little, which I think is pretty cool. They are adding a new scenario mod suffix called Battlefield, which can only be obtained from this scenario. I'm not sure what Battlefields includes, but it sounds like it's going to be good. And you'll obtain these through doing the high-risk events or the regular events. 3, you don't have to participate in PvP. There are safe zones that you can hang out in, build, farm, and live your simple life. All of your silos, monoliths will be available to you enjoy, and since Pro Mode opens in less than 2 weeks, which I'm hoping they change for the regular scenarios too, you'll have some meaningful content that you can enjoy quickly. 4, speaking about quickly, the leveling experience has been sped up a ton. So it'll be very little investment to reach max level, allowing you to spend more time doing other things. I think in videos I saw people getting like 900 experience killing mobs, so that's like over 1,000% increase. It'll go really fast. 5, if you don't join, you'll be missing out on Starchrom. So you get Starchrom for doing your weekly challenges as normal, plus you get bonus Starchrom for being part of the faction, even if you don't participate in the actual PvP. 6, you'll be able to obtain PvP-only deviations that you can take to future scenarios like Mr. Wish, which marks targets, Pup Buddy, which you can use to make weight reduction potions, which are perfect for carrying those heavy missiles for Prime Wars, and the coveted Dr. Teddy that can heal and res yourself and other players. So this thing is a beast. I use it all the time. Not to mention they have the 2 new ones, the Chosen One and the Berserkosaurus Rex. I saw an Azure Dino. I don't know if that's specific to this or if they just changed the name of Berserkosaurus, but getting those will be like super cool because those are very rare even in, this scenario. Number 7, the event is quick. It's just 19 days long. So if you join day 1, you'll still be able to enter the new PvE scenario on day 1. And 8, finally, why not? Even if you don't like it, you can just sit your character and collect all the freebies. Who knows, maybe you'll even have some fun in there. The alternative for most people will be sitting on a dead server or hanging out in the Eternal Land, so there's really nothing to lose and everything to gain. So those are the 20 questions and the FAQ I had for the devs, as well as what I've seen from the community. Let me know in the comments what you think and if this video changed your mind about joining or not. Also, let me know if there's any questions that you had that I didn't answer, and maybe I can answer them in the comments. So now that we know that there's no penalty on death and that they're adding PvP stat adjustment mechanics, it really doesn't sound all that punishing for a PvE player. As always, if you like this video or I answered a question you had, smash that like button. And if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe so you can catch new videos when I upload them. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.